there was so many other factors to their loss rather than Zeri just being on the Rift and making anyone's Legend magically lose. But Ultra Prime say, hey, you think you can go against us? We're still going to pick it up. And just overall, anyone's Legend saying, hey, the problem wasn't at least the early phase of our draft, which I agree with, right?
Yeah.
Jinx, Lee Sin, a tried and true combination, but we need to see how they adapt from here.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's if you're going to run the same profile, oh my God, we're getting the salty run back already. If you're going to run the same thing for anyone's Legend, you've got to make sure your pressure points and your focus in the early game is adapted, is changed. You need to see more focus towards the bot side, potentially, towards Betty and Chocho. They are your shining lights, and Xiaohao needs to find a way to get down that way. As Ryze, the pickup again for Ultra Prime there as their final pick in the first phase.
And I want to see if they go towards something like a Victor maybe this time around, right? You're going to do incredibly well into the Ryze into lane phase, but you don't care about that, I guess, is Forge. Forge just says, hey, I don't play mages. I only play champions that can give me really Chad highlights on YouTube.
We have the
I guess
Flame
we
Chompers.
are literally going to get the same thing.
We have the Flame Chompers. We don't need any other CC. The kick, that's CC. We're good, anyone's Legends say. As, yep, going to the second phase. Same ban so far as Gragas banned away. Leona banned away by Ultra Prime. I'm getting a bit of deja vu.
And I'm still going to be looking at anyone's Legend if they're going to pivot this time around to maybe just taking the Nautilus themselves. And again, playing how we speculated the comp might be rounded out in game one of taking an engaged support, maybe taking a more team fight oriented top laner, and then just play to have your Akali look for these flanks later on. And Mazel, they're doing it!
They're doing it! They did it! They locked in the Nautilus. I am a little worried though, because the Jace banned away by anyone's Legend leaves open that Kennen, the team fight potential there for Ultra Prime. I want to see if they, take that opportunity to lock that in, but it could also just be these mainstays of the top lane. But bigger thing is, we finally have that engaged for anyone's Legend.
And now for Ultra Prime, they do round out with the Renekton. You'd expect them to go with just another engaged support as well. Right now, hovering the Alistar, but I feel like it's very plug and play no matter what they end up with. The thing I'm more curious about is what anyone's Legend are going to do for top lane. If they want more frontline, right, and just play the front-to-back team fight, you always can opt into something like an Ornn into the Renekton matchup, just fall behind a bit early on, get plated steel caps, get a Bramble Vest, and you will do completely fine, especially the fact that Ultra Prime didn't go towards the Braum that they were potentially highlighting that they'd go towards.
I was hoping for the Silas insta lock-ins. Like, anyone's Legend been waiting for this. They've been waiting for ShiauC to lock in the Alistar. But no, it is not going to go that way. I do really want to, get a little bit more information on that Alistar Zeri bot lane down there as we go into the game. But more importantly, it is anyone's Legend's last pick, and it is Aatrox.
I'm still going to bring out the Aatrox. This is a champion we've seen a little bit so far in the LPL. Wouldn't be surprised if we start to see more of him pop up as the weeks go on as well. Going to be able to keep Renekton at arm's length with, hitting those sweet spots on your Qs, trying to force out his E with your W. Just a lot of potential tools to play around that. So anyone's Legend, as we've hit on, have already somewhat changed the identity of their comp, right? It's going to be a lot more about these team fights. It's going to be about finding flanks with the Akali and trying to use that Nautilus ultimate to keep Elk down. For Ultra Prime, I think it looks very similar to last game. Early game pick composition. Get Ryze moving early, a ton of CC in other lanes, and snowball out of control.
Yeah, the enableization from the Jarvan still being a cornerstone for Ultra Prime going into this game. The creature from the Black Lagoon and Hacker still being a big part to being successful here, as they do get a lot more of that CC. They get a lot of that stability in the team fight, and that's what we're looking at for them. Now on the other side of anyone's Legend, we saw, as you were kind of mentioning, a little bit of difference in this draft specifically. A lot of the core piece is still the same, at least in 3 of them, but it's about the early approach. It's about seeing a difference in Xiaohao's pathing and where that aggression comes through. I don't want to wait till 11 minutes to see the Lee Sin get involved in something. I need to see that action kicking off early for anyone's Legend so they can have a hope to stay in the game themselves.
For anyone's Legend, they have the picks this time around. They have Forge once again on his signature Akali. Betty setting up to be that 50-foot Betty that you wanted to see, Mazel. It's all in their hands.
It's all in their hands. The second game of the night is kicking off now. Ultra Prime taking on anyone's Legend. Anyone's Legend need to find a grasp in this series as they want to bring us the distance. And here we are on the Summoner's Rift.
Ultra Prime, we're trying to look for a little bit of a cheese.
A little spice.
Sadly not able to find it. So, you know, no level 1 deaths. Maybe not, sadly, for anyone's legend. That is pretty pog. No one going down in a level 1 play. They're going to spot out Ultra Prime. So far, just standard information, right? No wards coming out onto enemy camp. So potential for the enemy junglers to be a bit more creative, be a little bit more aggressive in the early stages.
And that's where I want to see the differences, right? Like the picks can stay the same, that kind of stuff can stay the same, but it's always about the play on the Rift and like the decision making early on that can change and have completely different outcomes, right? And we do still see the same start for both these junglers, both down towards this bottom side, and especially right now, just a curious question or a curious point here, I guess, is the fake lead started by anyone's legend. I guess not any longer.
I was going to say, their bot lane sadly debunking that now. Yep, just by showing up. But like you said, both junglers pathing up towards top side. I think early definitely does favor the side of Ultra Prime if any 2v2s do break out, right? You have double CC on both your champions, a ton of bursts coming in with the Renekton. For Xiaohao, just going for what he did last time around, he might this time have to be the jungler that pivots down towards that bottom side. You know that anyone's Legends bot lane should have prio in this matchup to set up for a potential early Scuttlecraft to come out. And yeah, this time QiuQiu's going to be able to be QiuQiu, Mazel. He can play aggressive.
Hey, he was playing aggressive last time at the prom too, okay? He was going for those engages. He's holding the dredge line until ShiauC's right at the tower, getting a decent amount of damage. Is Betty, but QiuQiu taking some in his own right. Same story as game number 1, though. Early aggression on the bot side from anyone's legend, trying to keep the pressure up.
And just nice of them to notice the fact that they do win out in these trades, right? Because we hit on, okay, the range disparity coming out in the matchup, but also just Zeri's trading tools not too good, considering you need to charge up the auto. Your Q doesn't go through minions unless you do have the fully charged there available as well. Like your E's mobility. W, I think, definitely has a lot of really cool uses, but can be hard to find those consistent trades in laning phase. So AL doing a nice job of playing around the matchup.
And I will say now, vision game strong for Ultra Prime. They get the vision on the Krugs. They see Xiaohao doing them. Hacker moves forward very quickly to do the Raptors while he's up there. Beautifully done from Ultra Prime early on.
And Hacker knows he can keep looking for these aggressive plays. Cryi's going to be able to move up. Look at the minimap as well. ShiauC heading over here just in case anything does break out.
And the pressure in the top lane means that they can't do anything about this. This is so rough for anyone's legend.
And the observer showing us ShiauC is here, right? So for anyone's legend, they can't respond. They know that it would be a disadvantageous fight. They're also just going to be losing minions in the lanes right now with the pushes that Ultra Prime's Soul Laners have been able to get. Xiaohao going to slowly pivot down towards the bottom side, and Ultra Prime already opening up the early advantage that we wanted to see from them.
And I guess my big shock here, not shock, but the thing that's standing out to me the most is, you know, typically this season, these Sins have been the one with the interesting path, the aggression early on, trying to find those invades as quickly as possible. But one way you could stop that is if Hacker just shows up in his face. Speaking of showing up in your face, ZDZ, you're in some trouble here at the top side. I don't know if they're going to be able to get you, though, as those sweet spots connecting nicely. And Hacker flashes because ZDZ could have connected that with his own flash.
Yeah, I think ZDZ with Hacker was very scared, right, of ZDZ going in for that flash with the third Q coming out, dealing massive damage. So trying to find something up a top lane, but being a little bit overzealous. They could have been happy just chunking ZDZ out and trying to deny some minions from him. But the fact that they went for that play opens up a counterplay for anyone's legend that might not have otherwise been here. Going to be able to get some camps back into Xiaohao's favor. But Ultra Prime can collapse.
They are collapsing, though. Nice little headbutt pulverized. Cryin over the wall to get away from Forge. And First Blood's already picked up from Ultra Prime. No big deal, right? Ultra Prime right back to it from game number 1, forcing QiuQiu's flash over the wall.
Oh, ZS though.
Oh my god, that health bar difference right there.
As ZDZ going to be able to force him back, and ZDZ hasn't recalled yet. So this isn't like ZDZ backing, coming into lane with an item advantage. No, this is still ZS just taking some of those disadvantageous trades from earlier on. And the fact that we talked about Aatrox can deal with Renekton in this matchup quite fine. But for Ultra Prime, they're like, hey, we don't care about the top lane matchup. It is still just all about enabling the spot side.
I'm just so interested right now. The pull and the give and take have we seen in these jungles, man. These junglers are ruthless. They are all over the map right now. We see that First Blood secured by Ultra Prime in the replay. Just beautifully timed. and taking advantage of anyone's legend kind of caught with their hand in the cookie jar.
Cryin as well, right? Able to rotate first, despite the fact that he was getting pushed in, so Forge would be able to rotate at the same time. But ShiauC's going in.
Lane gank there. He's already here from Xiaohao, but the Realm Warp is here now for some reinforcements for Ultra Prime. There's already been a trade. It's already one down on the side of Ultra Prime. And can Elk get followed up by Betty? There comes Forge. He gets him. The carry falls. QiuQiu takes a dredge line, but it's anyone's legend who's able to come out on top with 2 kills.
Anyone's legend finding a small window where they had man advantage, able to find that initial pick, makes it so Cryin and the squad can't follow up on the Realm Warp play and look for the fight. Really nice adaptation by Anyone's legend, and Xiaohao looking for that aggressive play the second he came back up on the map. And for Anyone's legend, already having a better start than we saw last time around, right? Where it's like, hey, our solo laners are just getting a little bit abused. This time, Forge showing up.
We'll get a replay of that, but the difference that it makes to see QiuQiu on this Nautilus, man, it is night and day.
Yeah, I think for the side of Anyone's legend, QiuQiu is by far the best engaged player on the team. That's why when he does play Enchanters, I think Anyone's legend look even more lost. We saw here, right, maybe for the side of Ultra Prime, them predicting that Xiaohao going towards top side with the fact that, again, could have been set up, the fact that his top side camps are still up. They found that initial pick with the 3v2 and bot side, and it allowed for the follow-up. So I think a lot of it goes to the setup, goes to the mind games that Xiaohao was playing, just showing up there in the bot lane.
And the 5-point strike connection after the flash is definitely going to hurt for Elk, and definitely something you got to keep our eyes out on, because Zeri with no flash with at least some CC on the side of Anyone's legend now is a little bit of a scary predicament for Elk. But we're back to our graces here, back to setting up for the next little plays, and a little bit less so of that jungle invading that we got earlier, but Xiaohao maybe trying to prove me wrong here.
Xiaohao just hovering around mid for now, realizing that Forge's ulti about to come up, so we'll be able to look for some aggressive plays. But Rift Herald's up, Mazel, and we know when Rift Herald's up in the LPL, we're going to get a bunch of action coming our way. To highlight, ZS did just get off. ZS did just come off a back, does have Executioner's Calling now, so going to be able to reduce the healing just across the board on the side of Anyone's legends with champions, you know, like Aatrox on the opposite side.
They've already started up the Rift Herald here. A bit of a sticky situation for Hacker. Hacker does get out with the flag and drag. Rift Herald still in the eyes of Anyone's legend, but Ultra Prime are actually setting themselves up here. You got ShiauC making a run for it, but they're not going to make it in time, and Ultra Prime decide to pull off the play. Anyone's legend come out with the neutral objective.
Ooh, ZDZ
Hacker's here too. He's trying to find help. He's like, guys, I need something. World Ender pop, but he's not making it out. And ZDZ's world has ended.
Great by Ultra Prime to find something on the back end of that play. I want to highlight, though, for Anyone's legend, all of that we just saw comes from the bot gank that happened about 2 minutes earlier, right? Because they get the wave pushed in. Elk now doesn't have flash. ShiauC needs to escort Elk to the wave and help him push out before he can move, which allowed for Anyone's legend to have QiuQiu on the play first. So just a great example of how a previous play could impact the setup moving forward. And Anyone's legend, again, much better time so far in this game. Still are 1K gold down to Ultra Prime, though.
Yeah, and a lot of that is coming from that top lane. The CS discrepancy is getting a little bit wonky there for ZS. He's looking very strong on the Renekton itself, and trying to get that piece into the team fights later is going to be crucial for Ultra Prime. And themselves having set up Hacker for success early with 2 kills already under his belt. He's going to have to be what we keep our spotlight on. The creature of the Black Lagoon, if you will.
You know, I'm very disappointed you haven't made more old sci-fi references.
You know, I feel like
truly wanted.
I feel like the cheese needed to stay in the ape. Like, you know, it's the appetizer. All right, we just reference the cheese as we go on.
You know, Mazel, I feel like you'll become more powerful the more chat calls you cringe, or like there's any emotes with caster. So I was kind of welcoming that, seeing the more aggressive side of Mazel is we've seen the more aggressive side of Anyone's legend.
Yeah, I want to see where this Rift Herald goes next. I think this is going to be a crucial utilization for Anyone's legend, especially if they want to get back some of this passive gold that Ultra Prime have gotten themselves, and ZDZ doing his own work in the top side, trying to even up that matchup a little bit more too. But we're still setting up potentially for our first dragon, as Xiaohao actually down towards this way. Not many camps to go by. And we're also getting Ultra Prime's team down this way as well.
Yeah, I want to hit back on the Rift Herald point you hit on, because I feel like for anyone's Legend, they have two options, right? You either hover Xiaohao down towards bot lane, and if you find a kill, you drop it bot. If not, you could potentially just rotate your bot lane and jungler towards mid and break some plates down in the mid lane. Sure, you won't be able to, you know, raise a turret or anything because Forge hasn't had any pressure on it, but those are your 2 points of pressure, mid and bot. How are you gonna utilize the pressure you have in bot to impact what you're gonna use the Herald for, right? I wouldn't expect to see it up in the top side, but that is where Xiaohao is playing right now.
A little bit dangerous for Hacker there. His priority in mid lane, or he doesn't even have his mid laner in mid lane, so definitely on his own there, but just trying to spread as far as he can. A pretty quiet bit to this early game. We did have those 4 kills, but it still is the same reserved style that we got. But here we go.
No, it's not, Mazel. No, it's not.
The Realm War coming in. Cryin has been key with that. ShiauC misses the head, but pulverized. The perfect execution comes out from Forge.
So they force Pryon mid with the gank. They're going to be able to make their way down. Betty will back off from this wave, will, you know, be in danger. Now we're going to see Ultra Prime probably start up this dragon. Even ZS having Pryon topside means he can even just hover down, ensuring its safety. He doesn't have to move all the way down. Could move to mid, could pick up topside scuttle. And Ultra Prime will be getting everything on the map right now.
Flash also burned by Forge. We're not going to have that ready to go. We do have Gore Drinkers now completed for both junglers. Hacker obviously having completed his first. Xiaohao just having completed his. We do get our first dragon at 12 minutes into the game, Lyric. So a little bit later on that timer. But setting up for themselves is Ultra Prime. Now, Xiaohao using the Rift Herald in mid lane, realizing they're not going to catch Cryin on that initial engage. But now they want to try to get some plates off this tower. They bring 4 bodies to mid lane. The dredge line does not connect because of the flash from ShiauC. The Rift Herald connects, though, gets 2 plates quickly for anyone's Legend.
They do give over a plate to ZS, which is why I'm surprised he didn't opt into the way we hit on earlier about doing this right, of rotating with your bottom lane. Oh, ShiauC is going in.
I'm sorry, I just had to say that ZS backing on a control ward with absolute Chad energy right there. Yeah, nothing came of it in mid lane for ShiauC, just trying to find something on the forward, trying to lock down this Akali a little bit. But it's, you know, backs coming out and resets coming out for both these teams.
Yeah, and Elk hitting the big Triforce power spike right. Gonna be getting a ton of benefit from that one, especially the movement speed. For Zeri, movement speed is just your bread and butter, being able to weave in and out and get your damage across. No mythic yet coming out for Betty. Might be sitting on the gold to do that, you know, now or after another wave or so. So for anyone's Legend, feels like a lot of your power is onto Xiaohao right now, who does have that Gore Drinker.
Yeah, and at least you're starting to get some item completions along those lines. But more so for me, it's what's standing out is anyone's Legend's willingness to kind of abandon the lanes a little bit, but make sure their team composition is working together. Make sure that you're getting QiuQiu and Xiaohao on the roams together and constantly trying to provide pressure. Unlike last game, where it felt like Ultra Prime were the only ones putting forth any pressure.
And it just comes down to when, you know, you do have losing lane matchups, or you have like neutral lane matchups that your players are losing, like right now ZDZ being behind in top lane, right? It's like, okay, we can slowly just sit in our lanes, give them advantages, or we can be like, hey, we're going to drop a wave here. We're going to lose a bit of golden XP. Maybe they get a plate, but we're going to try and find something more on the opposite side of the map with the numbers that we have. So anyone's Legend at least playing true to that old philosophy. And again, it's keeping them competitive. Only 700 gold down right now, posturing up towards the top side where Rift Herald is up, and Forge has TP. So all 5 members of anyone's Legend can be here at a moment's notice.
And we do see the adaptation from anyone's Legend bringing the mid lane to bear here, trying to get Betty into that, as well as Elk on the opposite side. But it's really about this Rift Herald play. As the second Rift Herald has come up, anyone's Legend fighting seriously over the vision.
I also want to highlight, we saw this exact same move in Game 1, right? And it's when anyone's Legend got engaged on and died. But this time around, Ultra Prime have to be conscious of the engage that can come out from Nautilus. So not able to just go in as recklessly as they did last time around.
That S going in here has the damage on his ZDZ, and there's the rest of the team. Oh, that's unfortunate for anyone's Legend. ZDZ clapped down, and that's just a quick play call again from Ultra Prime.
Anyone's Legend, though, going to try and answer with a mid lane
Oh,
turret.
Cryin
Cryine's going to be caught out.
Gets kicked back, Ryze line in. The CC chain is good, and there's the connection. Depth charge in. Forge is on the back of the line now. JoJo getting in some trouble, has to go golden. Betty, is he going to be the 50-foot tall Betty we needed? Is he going to be enough to turn this around? He's the only saving grace at this point. JoJo goes in, and Betty is excited, and that's what you love to see. Forge gets a double kill, and Anyone's Legend have turned it all around.
That was just terrific coming out from Anyone's Legend. They wait for the play, they set it up. Everything is just working in sync with one another. It's going to set up for the kills to come out. They also pick up a Rift Herald. Heck, Betty even getting more damage down onto this mid lane turret. What a huge fight coming out from AL.
Incredible. And the tower on top of it all for Betty. The Rift Herald secured for Xiaohao. Anyone's Legend have completely turned the car around, and we get to see the breakdown of it here as Cryin getting caught.
Yeah, Xiaohao going for the kick, instantly the Chocho's hook. Really nice coming out from him. The dredge line does go down. It looks like it was onto Elk, so able to hit that onto multiple members. Forge zoning them out is such a key role, but there, Hacker going over the wall straight onto the Chompers allows for Betty to get the reset. They keep going forward. JoJo commits the flash, and it just feels like from here everything is done. Just really smart setup, right? They're looking for a bit of that cheesy play coming in from the back end with Xiaohao, and Cryin fell for it.
Did indeed. It was good play set up for Ultra Prime, but then the transition back to normal was not as fluid there. Now Betty is definitely set up for these next fights on this team.
And I think an important note is now Forge does have a lot of pressure in side lanes. They don't feel comfortable bringing anyone to burst him.
ShiauC? Okay, double knock up there. He's still pretty tanky. And they've already gotten JoJo out, but Betty is still untouched on the back line as well. Betty still firing these rockets. They have turned it onto Forge. It's looking good for Ultra Prime if they can steadily take this fight. ZDZ going in. He's trying to get the world inner resets there as well as Xiaohao is too deep. Betty, you are 50 feet tall and a Chad. There you go. Anyone's Legend right back to it. A triple kill for Betty.
Betty just stepping up. Xiaohao as well, finding a beautiful kick in that fight. ZDZ zoning off so many members. Anyone's Legend showing in these 5v5 skirmishes is where they can bring it together. Once again, going to transition to it into so much pressure and so much gold from the map. Taking away enemy camps, getting another tower, even picking up a dragon. Ultra Prime are just giving away everything with these fights.
And just like that, Anyone's Legend find themselves almost 5,000 gold in the lead. Make that so now with that side tower going down. Anyone's Legend are impressing with these turnarounds, with these fights that Ultra Prime are the ones that are taking.
Yeah, we see ShiauC going in with the Unbreakable. Does force Nautilus into the team, but hey!
DDZ makes it out. We cut that replay short, but that was close.
I gotta be honest, that replay was actually super cool. I am a bit disappointed. But ZDZ, you got away, my man. But Forge still putting up so much pressure on the opposite side of the map. And when we were looking at items just now, we see Betty, you know, hitting that second item, bringing out the Lord Dominic. So going to be dealing quite a bit of damage now, especially up against ShiauC Hacker ZS, because his role is hitting frontline. To where the opposite side of the map, right, getting towards their core items as well. Sterix Gage looking like it's about to come out. Forge almost hitting Azania's. He'll be so much more of a nuisance and be able to buy so much more time once that is picked up.
Bounty secured from Ultra Prime, though. They've got that working for them at least, but a tier 2 tower did fall in the meantime for Anyone's Legend as they continue to mount the pressure up. The question is here now, though, as items start getting completed, we're getting second item completions, 2.5 or so for Anyone's Legend so far, and it seems like we've kind of turned the tail here from game 1 to 2, and now we're looking at Anyone's Legend being in that driver's seat.
Anyone's Legend will be able to get back out onto the map, right? Throw Forge in that side lane. Doesn't have TP up right now. Neither of them do, so I'm interested to see their lane allocation. Looks like they want to keep Akali against the Ryze, where he knows he does have some threat, and just continuously rotate Forge over, use that Fog of War, and, you know, play up for those picks in the enemy topside jungle.
Get a lot of bodies around this Baron pit right now. Maybe not the best call for either team, but they definitely want to fight around it. Hex flash will come out for ShiauC as Xiaohao just looking for it. There's the Realm Warp. Again, they're calling the plays. Betty is the target. Will Betty go down? The flag and drag connect, and there you go. Cryin gets the kill. Now they are still under tower, but QiuQiu is caught out. And just like that, Ultra Prime make it like anyone's legend is nothing. Like they have done nothing to have a lead here, and it's just so rough to have that turnaround like that, and the play calling for Ultra Prime shines yet again.
And that's what you want to see, right? Them punishing the fact that enemy AD carry doesn't have flash. They're instantly turning this onto the Baron. They want to look for a turn. ShiauC is on the flank.
He's on Xiaohao. They go over on him. Xiaohao's just dead. They have everything they need, and they turn back onto the Baron lyric.
Yeah, and they're just going to they're going to look to rinse and repeat, right? Wait for ShiauC's cooldowns to come back up. If ZDZ or Forge walk forward, find the engage. Everyone on the side of Ultra Prime able to follow in quite easily.
They're running here. You've got QiuQiu on his way. ZDZ and Forge are the only thing that stands in between them right now. QiuQiu finally making it. Mega Death Rocket, not enough. The Baron is going to be secured by Ultra Prime. They go back in, though, and they have found Hacker. Now Forge going for Elk, too, and Elk is caught out as well. Can they clean up the rest of Ultra Prime? There's another one. ZS is down, too, and oh my God. Anyone's legend, just like that, at a clap of the hands, is going to turn it all right back around. I feel like we're getting a little bit seasick here.
Yeah, for Ultra Prime, I get what they were doing, right? Even if you lose someone, you got Baron and you got objective bounty. So it's like, cool, we got this. Maybe we lose one or two members because of Aatrox and Zeri, but them being able to pick up 3 kills, I think is pretty massive for the side of AL. Ultra Prime, though, will still have a Baron to work with, specifically in 2 lanes, right? Because Cryin will be able to play aside, ShiauC will be grouped with AD carry, but you go straight into the replay. Like we said, Betty has no flash. So Ultra Prime recognize the opportunity when Betty is trying to posture and fight for Prior over mid-wave. They find the initial pick. All the damage is gone. So Ultra Prime able to keep following it through with the pick onto QiuQiu. But here's where everything gets a little bit dicey. For Ultra Prime here, I think you just cut your losses, right? Every man for himself. We try and get out. They do start to look for a bit of the turn here. Forge finding the engage, which means that S has to turn to look for it, does end up going down. But like I said, silver lining, you still have a split pusher with Baron. You still have one of your 3-man core with Baron as well.
That hook from QiuQiu to bring out Hacker from the range of flag and drag. Oh my God. The intricacies of these fights are so interesting to me. As ZS set up to get dived in the bot lane, has Hacker here as well. Elk on his way. But anyone's legend definitely putting some pressure on the bot side here. This tier 2, they want to take it down.
Now they're going to be putting some pressure up. I don't think they should be able to get anything right unless Ultra Prime dictate the fight. But we see this time around Elk going for the Black Cleaver second. Your Q does fully stack Black Cleaver. ShiauC.
They got TP here on the side. Yeah, they've got Dominus Pop. ZDZ already out of it now. ZS needs to be careful. Forge is looking really confident here. He's got the Shuriken flip. The Mega Death Rocket does not connect. Who's going to die first? It's so tight. There's the Ultra Shock Laser, but the re-engage from anyone's legend. Can they turn this around? Cryin is dead. Betty, again, you are a monster. You fit the sci-fi cheese as anyone's legend pushed down this tier 2.
And we said a fight wouldn't happen unless Ultra Prime wanted it to. Ultra Prime were the team chasing anyone's legend, but the TP comes in. They turn the fight around. And guess what? There's Dragon up. They once again get a turret. They once again get all the jungle camps. In every fight, anyone's legend are just funneling like 1,000 gold more in the lead each time.
The carries are definitely set up. We've gotten 3 items now for the carries, at least waiting a little bit longer for Betty, but I'm sure after this fight, he will definitely be able to purchase that third item at least. The Mega Death Rocket just a little bit wide, but it didn't matter. Nobody was touching the carries.
And I feel like the big thing is ZDZ. ZDZ going in, the Gore Drinker coming out. He's the one buying space for Betty, and he also just did a massive chunk of damage in that, which set up for the reset to come out from Jinx and then be able to finish off those kills. So nice of anyone's legend. ZS way too far forward in relation to where both Cryin and ShiauC were in that fight, so no damage able to come out. And yeah, anyone's legend, I think, preying a lot off of Ultra Prime's eagerness for the fight, which I can appreciate. It's not working, but you love to see it.
Yeah, you love to see it. And the fact that, they were committed to try to get ZDZ on that TP. Like, okay, he's TPing way over. It doesn't matter, though. He's an Aatrox. Like, that Gore Drinker is going to be huge. And now it's about Ultra Prime. They have to find the targets that matter. They have to find Betty. They have to find Forge because they are getting ripped to shreds in these team fights.
And they're going to be ripped to shreds even more because QiuQiu going with the Evan Shroud. So, you know, if he can land that CC, people are going to be taking more damage. And QiuQiu hasn't really missed. QiuQiu's been doing a great job of guaranteeing that he finds the fights. And it also goes to the dynamic of both compositions, right? Both do have a lot of short-range elements. Like, Ultra Prime want to run in. They have the Jarvan. They have the Alistar, which sets up for QiuQiu to just point-and-click ulti. Sets up for ZDZ to be able to find his damage. And like you said, it feels like at the end of the day, Betty will always be left untouched in these skirmishes.
Yeah, there's just so many other things to worry about, so many positioning things to kind of take into account when you're going to these fights that things break down so quickly as well when AL feel confident, right? You have Forge flipping over you like crazy. You've got to deal with that while Betty's getting set up with the rockets on the back line. So it's a very difficult task for Ultra Prime to do. But if anything, right, that game one should show you that they do have good target selection. They do have good target calling. Cryin on the Realm Warps has still been on point, and all it takes at these kinds of moments in the game, yes, there's a lead for anyone's legend, all it takes is one big catch at the right moment.
No, I completely agree with you, right? Cryin has shown he's very good understanding of when to use his Realm Warp to get maximum value out of a pick. And anyone's legend on the opposite side have shown that they are prone to just letting Betty walk up, farm by himself with no flash, and him get picked off. So right now, Betty has no flash. We're keeping our eyes on him. We're seeing if Cryin or if Hacker can find their way onto this Jinx, because if so, Ultra Prime will be in a good position to be able to maybe take the next Baron once it respawns or look for an inhibitor push. So Betty's summoner spells will be crucial. He does have the stopwatch up as well.
He does. I was going to say that big buy from the last team fight got him the completion on the rapid fire and that stopwatch. Well, it's a crit cloak, not too bad. We get a lot of pings, a lot of commotion up towards the Baron pit here for anyone's legends. They want to get some vision down because we got 1:40 till the next dragon. Sole point for anyone's legend, but they've got to make sure the Baron area is locked down.
Anyone's legend are the ones that have control of river, but still Ultra Prime have not given up any deep vision, right? We see their control ward line not letting any wards get behind them, so Forge or ZDZ can find a flank. You'd expect for AL, what they're trying to do, right, pull Ultra Prime into river. You can see Forge making his way over now, and you can try and force out a TP from ZS. So best case scenario, Forge finds an angle onto Elk.
We have Forge coming from the mid lane. The Baron pulled off of anyone's legend playing the games here, but ShiauC gets engaged on TP, now committed from ZS. But is it going to be in time? Is his team just going to be dead before he can get there? You have Elk there on the side. You need to be careful of this ADC, but Betty has already killed ShiauC, and now they're getting excited. They're moving forward, and they're wiping the floor with Ultra Prime. Anyone's legend have done it, and they are taking fights consecutively. Yes, you cannot catch Elk unless he walks forward like that and gets obliterated. That's an ace, and anyone's legend will barrel down the mid lane.
And anyone's legend made the adaptations in draft. They realized what were the strong points, what were the weak points of their composition. They brought in more engage, and they weren't afraid to take these fights.
They were not. All it takes is a couple more ticks, a couple more hits, and they will secure this game. First game looked real rough. We thought Ultra Prime, they might be taking a 2-0 victory tonight. But anyone's legend hush the naysayers, and they say, no way, Jose, as they take a dominant game number 2 and bring us to a full 3-game series.
And we've seen a lot of the ways we've characterized anyone's legend play out in this game, in my mind. We've talked about